Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about information to search strategy. So when you hear about search strategy, what comes into your mind? A lot of things basically has to come into your head. Because what is a search strategy? For us, we are used to research, but this one is search without the R, the RE. So a lot of things has to come into your mind. So when you hear about search strategy, you have to think, because what is search strategy? So in what we are going to look at, we're going to get to define the search strategy so that we can know more about search strategy. And then we're also going to get the research questions development. We have to know what is a research question development. We have to learn it. And then also there's a key identification. You need to identify the keywords, like keyword identification in your search strategy. You identify the keywords. Then there is also database selection in the search strategy. So you're going to select data. Then, when we are done with all that, then we are going to have a conclusion and we conclude. So, in our definition of a search strategy is a plan. Like before you do a research, what is a search? You plan. You plan on what to find. Then, if you find relevant information effectively, you get it. So you plan to find the relevant information effectively. Like to find the relevant information, you need to plan to get the information effectively. Then the research question development, So the research question development, the questions you're going to do the research on, you should make sure the question is clear on what you want, because you cannot go with a question that is not clear. The question should be clear so that you can be able to get what you want exactly in your research. Then you need to focus on the question. You focus and understand the question, you interpret it so that you're able to know what you're doing and what you want to find out. Then the question should also be specific. Like it should be specific. Maybe if you're talking about social media, the social media should be specific. Is this social media in the students' world or social media in general? What is that you're talking about? It should be specific. Yeah. That is all about research question development. You have to know, you have to be clear with your questions. The question should focus on what you want, and then the question should be specific. Yeah. So then the keyword identification, you use related terms in the keyword identification. You cannot use words or terms that are not related, because they may give you different words. You need to use words that are kind of related so that you can be able to find out what you really want. And then also, for example, when you're using the related terms, we have global warming and weather patterns. If you're doing the research on global warming and weather patterns, there's a relationship between global warming and weather patterns. So this one is going to help us to find out about the global warming and the weather patterns. So it's going to help us to find out and to bring in the information that we want. And then we are going to pick the sources of information. You pick sources. Like, where are you going to get this, your global warming and weather patterns? Where are you going to get the information from? So the sources we have here are Google Scholars, where you're going to, since this is global warming, maybe we can download an article on global warming and other patterns. So we're going to get the articles from the Google Scholars, then the academic journals. So it is going to help you get those words. That is why it is very good to identify the keywords. Then we have database sources. Like database sources, where are you going to get data from? We have library catalogs. You need to go to the library to get these sources of information. We have the online database, where you're going to get various information from, but since you're going to be specific on the topic, you're going to be able to get it. Then the Google Scholars, where you're going to download the work you're looking for. Then we have the university library database. In the university library database, you're going to obviously you have to go with what you want, the topic you're doing research on, so that you can be able to pick the book you want in the library to use. You cannot go there when you don't know what to do. Yeah, that is basically about it. So what I found out about the search strategy, in our conclusion to search strategy, it improves search quality. Like, it improves the quality of research. Yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching.